Previously, we saw that Shu awakened the mysterious power that allows him to earn points from people's negative emotions. With these points, he is able to purchase fruits that greatly increase his training efficiency. He found out that his neighbor is actually someone very powerful, so he has decided to ask to learn swordsmanship from him. The story continues as we see Shu watch a recording of a crime being committed by a level E awakened. He wonders what could be causing him to receive points from Master Li. As he has gotten many all day outside, he sees Chao. As he can hear classmates gossip about how powerful she's becoming. On his way home, he sees that Los Ha is frustrating Master Li immensely. As she is being a difficult student, he realizes that his on the Shao star systems must be connected, and that any resentment she creates will earn him points. Her personality is perfect for antagonizing others, so he urges her to continue being herself. Master Li then requires that she wear weights to improve training, and Chu says that his special Yuan class that is taught by Mr. Fei already increases strength. Master Li explains that the man who created the chorus, named Yujin, is a member of the Heavenly Network and understands training like no other, but extra lessons in body movement will help Shu achieve his goals. Shu then easily handles the weights and requests the next lesson. Master Li demonstrates his abilities and tells you to swing a sword 1,000 times, making sure to feel the changes in his body as he does. He knows that his muscles currently have no memory but only talent, and once his swordsmanship becomes instinctual, he will be able to achieve another level afterwards. Master Li would like to know what she thinks makes someone strong, and he explains that those who are strong enough to ignore the rules can be considered strong. But Master Li explains that experience is what is needed to get there. He then asks if Shu is willing to take on greater responsibility when it comes to possessing great power in the future, but Shu says no, explaining that his only responsibilities are to survive and take good care of Lu Chao. Master Li tries to explain that she is not the only one he will be able to take care of and could help others. However, Shu still says he won't, since it has been very hard for him to even just survive in this world, and he doesn't have any lofty ideals. Master Li thinks about how hard it is to convince him to believe in the mission of the foundation he belongs to, and explains to Shu that he cannot be his disciple, but he will still teach him swordsmanship under one condition. The next day, we see that Li is in a much friendlier mood, and is a lot easier to teach since Shu has provided her with several snacks. Just then a man arrives and Master Li asks that Les Ha recite an annoying saying for greeting unwanted guests at school. Shu gets a notification that he has received points from Eugene. He immediately recognizes him as the Heavenly Network member Master Li spoke of earlier. He arrives home to see that the Shah was fine, and Eugene wonders if Master Li will be teaching Shu, but says that it would be a waste of time since he is only level F. Eugene then explains his reason for the coming ruins, which are beginning to reappear in the country, and he asks that the foundation, masterfully created with the goal of saving the world, not get in the way. He reminds him that the final spot on the Heavenly Network is as if he wants it, and he also would like for the foundation to work with the network in the future since he claims they share the same goal of world peace afterwards. Master Li explains that Su shouldn't be nervous around Eugene if he is truly a level F, and asks that they take the sodium-potassium test to determine what their true potentials are. That night, they take the test to find that they both have the potential to reach level A. However, after a moment, Shu's test changes to a color that is not even on the chart. As Shu buries the results, he lies to Master Li, since he believes that it would be safer for them to hide their true potential, especially considering how many powerful people Master Li attracts. Later, Shu manages to crack the second layer of his star system to find that it gives him a skill that provides protection against injuries. We then see that Lak Hai is making progress as she sleeps and wakes to reveal to Shu that she has cracked her first layer. He makes sure to let her know that he is still one level ahead, though she explains that a black hole appeared in her star system, and she began to feel the energy of dead beings near her. After picking one, it was sucked into the black hole. Now, she can call upon it and have it do whatever she wants. They find some more dead ants to test if she can control multiple at the same time, but she cannot. After trying it on a bird, she explains that it has no time limit and barely takes any energy, but it depends on the quality of the spirit she controls. Lu Cha would like to try it on something stronger and request that they go to a cemetery, but Shaw doesn't like that idea. Instead, he brings her to a slaughterhouse to find a pig, explaining that if she doesn't like that he knows of a donkey nearby. That night, Shu asks that she get her piggy out. Once she does, he runs some tests to understand the spirit a bit more, only to see that he has upset Lucha very much. To make amends, she makes her favorite meal, When she asks why he is smiling, he explains that he is just happy that he can provide her with such good food every day now. He then thinks about how great it would be if he could buy the house they are renting when he senses something happening nearby. He attempts to leave her behind, but she explains that she sensed it too and will be going with. He arrives to find Mr. Fay and some other black coats have come in contact with a level D awakened the level D robber, and his goons prove to be very formidable of opponents, causing lots of problems for the black coats. Even when it seems that Mr. Fay has gotten the upper hand, the robber causes a massive explosion that gives him the opportunity to escape. Shu explains that it is too dangerous and tells the child to leave, so she begrudgingly does. Shu is surprised to see how well prepared the network is when he sees how much backup has arrived. We then see as the goons would like to surrender since they value their lives more than the money, but their leader points out that they murdered 2 black coats on the bridge and promises to get them out of there. He does manage to get them all out of the building, however he gets chased down by one of the black coats and gets pierced by his weapon. In that tense moment, everyone spots Shu's figure but are unable to tell who he is. He tries to explain that he was simply on a walk, but the black coats chase him anyway. Shu's growth from his training is on full display as he manages to avoid attacks while taking command of the fight. The robber is also doing very well, giving a good example of just how strong a level D can be. Mr. Fay's attempts at affecting the 2 battles in any way go unrewarded, as he only manages to add to some cool explosions, ultimately being knocked unconscious. After he sees that everyone is unconscious, he encounters the robber. Shu uses his immense strength to overpower a punch from him and his dagger to finish the robber off. Shu returns home, is inspected for any harm, and tells the child that they should go out in an attempt to find some good spirits. She is a bit skeptical since that is exactly what he said earlier when she just ended up with a pig. He thinks they should trust each other more and asks if he has ever tricked her, to which he replies yes as they leave. Master Li asks where they are going, and they lie, saying they are going out to eat dinner. After the child scouts the area, Shu brings her to where the battle ended. She reveals that she can sense 3 lingering spirits, and he tells her to have the black hole take the tall guy. However, after trying to bring the spirit out, she reveals that she doesn't have enough power but should. After about a day, she says they can't go home yet, since he promised to take her out to eat, but he thought that was just a lie for Master Li. She explains that he won't believe them if she were to go back on an empty stomach, so he agrees to take her wherever she wants. He explains that she doesn't need to eat so fast since they are financially well off now, and he can take her to eat more often. Shu then says that things could get dangerous, so it would be best to hide her abilities for now. She knows and says to stop talking since the food is getting cold. He starts to believe that life with him must be difficult, and that she may have a better life at the orphanage. She asks if he plans on leaving her alone at the orphanage again, and she exclaims that she doesn't care about food or clothes. All she cares about is that he is her family. Shu then remembers when he left her before, and how difficult his life became. She eventually managed to find him, and the 2 would go on to work really hard on creating a better life for themselves. Les Hall would even take on all their responsibilities whenever she was sick. He then tells her how he would like to buy a home for them and not cry anymore, as he promises that they will always be family elsewhere. Members of the network discuss the incident with the robber, and how a mysterious awakened appeared that seemed to have the potential of a level C. They wondered who it could be, and what the shadow that covered his body was, to emphasize the importance of finding out who he is. One of the members explains that there are only 2 people in the entire network above level C. One of the members explains that the next rune will appear in that city, and that he should be the one to go, as there is no room for error. Another member was able to determine that level C is still just a teenager by the way he spoke, and he was amazed at how someone so young can already be so strong later. Shu explains that his stinky tofu has become very popular. However, people no longer get negative feelings because they have gotten used to this smell and love the flavor, causing him to no longer receive points after selling out, though he sees that he could get a few points by disappointing some customers. That night, the Xiao excitedly wakes you to show him that she was able to bring out the spirit of the D-level robber. After one day, she explains that she can't even make him use his abilities, and asks if she wants to get hit as a test, but he declines as it would cause too much damage. She is able to see some of the robber's memories, and knows where he hid the stolen money. She also saw the fight before his death and complimented Shu's attacks, but took them back. Lexa wants to get the money, but Shu explains that they must turn it into the police. She continues explaining that it would be enough to buy the house, but Shu says to leave that to him, and they don't have to buy it the wrong way. She is relieved, assuming that means he has the money, and asks where it is, but Shu says that it is in the future. She goes to bed, and Shu looks at a flyer showing how much the house will cost. Yuan in class Su shows Jiang some chives that had been sold for a lot of money. Jiang explains that those chives come from a piece of blessed land that the person's parents bought, and that they have the power to accelerate and awaken. Breakthrough blessed lands are places where spiritual power is abundant, affecting animals and plants in the area. He explains that things imbued with this spiritual power are worth a lot of money, so almost all of the blessed lands are brought up by the rich. Furthermore, blessed lands have different levels of quality. The blessed land Li's family has, for example, is impure, and will harm Li if he uses it too much. Shu then wonders if the spirit stones the students use are valuable, and Jiang reveals that a shipment of the stones have arrived and will be distributed by one of the heavenly leaders later. All the students attend the inauguration ceremony for their new principal. The member from the network named Li Sha arrives, explaining that he was trying to dig up some money when the cop showed up after receiving an anonymous tip. When Chu sees him, he instantly senses his power as a level B, and Li Sha seems to notice something, but turns out he is just wondering why everyone is missing class as the new principal. Isha must make a speech, and all his attempts to get out of it fail. He goes up and simply requests that everyone work really hard later. Li Sha formally introduces himself as a level B to the Yuan class, and tells them about the suspicious person who is believed to be a C level. The mysterious person defeated the D level robber, who wields a sword and is protected by an energy shield. If they see someone like that, they are to report it immediately. He goes on to say that from that day forward they will receive spirit stones for their training on a monthly basis. Mr. Fei then explains that those with the potential to achieve level C will receive 1 stone band, and everyone who is awakened will get an additional 2 stones, which means Shu, who is thought to not have enough potential, will at least get 2 stones a month later. Shoots Skang if there is a black market for the spirit stones. Jiang is shocked that he would sell away his future, but Shu explains that he can't focus on training if he has to constantly worry about making a living. The real reason, though, is that the fruit he buys from his power shop is much better for accelerating growth. Jiang says that the stones are controlled by the network, numbered and forbidden to trade, but there is a black market for them. The price is 100,000 yuan. Shu says he wants to sell his for each, and Jiang finds a buyer. He is also shocked that she trusts them to hold on to the stones, and he explains it's because they're friends back home. Master Li is shocked to see Li Sha come out of his own house, and Li Sha explains that he was only dropping off the medicine that the network promised to get him. Master Li once again asked that Li Chao recite the annoying greeting for unwanted guests, and she gave the much longer version. Li Sha explains that 2 skeletons that can move freely were found in some ruins, and it could be equivalent to a level E awakener. Li Sha wants to know if he has any information, but Master Li explains that the Foundation has kept its promise to not interfere. Last but not least, Li Sha brings up the suspicious level C and how his fighting style is similar to Master Li's, but backs off quickly. When Master Li is offended that he would think it's a student of his, Shu shows Li Sha how much money they now have and the cell phone he bought her for emergencies. He also explains that he will be taking the day off tomorrow to sign the transfer of the property, as tomorrow the house will be theirs. She is in disbelief, asking if the courtyard, the floors, the walls, the bugs and ants will all be theirs too. He says yes, and that even the dust will be theirs too. That night Shu makes more progress with his star system, and we see that a dark cloud seems to enter the child's body. The next day Shu finalizes the property transfer and receives a text from the child, asking that he return to their home to enjoy a meal together. However, he must decline her offer after he receives an emergency text and phone call that explained all students from the Yuan class are to assemble immediately. Thanks for watching part 2. If this video gets likes, I will know you want to continue the series.